Hey metalheads, and welcome to another Battle of the Bands. Who is going to be battling it out?
This time we're going to have Iron Maiden versus Tyr, Where Eagles Dare.
All right, Where Eagles Dare. Oh my God, a classical song, a well-loved song, I think, for many.
By one of the biggest bands, Iron Maiden. I'm sure most of you have heard it. Maybe you've heard the Tyr cover as well, but we're going to put them head to head, have a little vote, and see which ones you guys like better.
Tyr, remind me, this is a Scandinavian band, right?
Tyr, first and foremost, is the Norse god of war, roughly equivalent to Ares or Mars. But the band is a Faroese band from the Faroe Islands.
So exciting and so exotic. Faroe Islands, it's like a speck of land in the middle of where? The Atlantic Ocean, I guess.
Yeah. Somewhere in actually interesting. Somewhere in between. It is closer to the UK probably than Denmark. So it's interesting that we'll have a British band.
But it belongs to Denmark, right?
Yeah.
Technically, administrative, because that's, again, Scandinavian context, I think it's associated with Denmark.
Yeah.
At least what the Danes want to claim it.
And so hopefully you've heard of Tyr. I'm sure we'll spotlight them in a later episode. They have a really interesting sound. Iron Maiden, obviously awesome. This Where Eagles Dare is the lead track off the 1983 album Peace of Mind.
1983, my God.
Such a good album, as most of Iron Maiden's are. But interesting fun fact, looking into what the song is about. Do you know?
I have no idea. I always associated with movies like where Eagle, the Nazis, you know, where Eagle has landed.
Well, not far from it. It's from a 1968 flick called Where Eagles Dare. The plot basically being a U.S. general is captured, and Allied forces have to sneak in and save that general. So from the British side, you have Richard Burton, and the American side, Clint Eastwood.
You know, I think I actually seen when I was a teen this particular version. It's in the Alps, it's somewhere in the
Alps are in the lyrics as well. So that's actually where the song comes from. Fun fact.
Iron Maiden made it for the film.
Yeah. The
film music. Why don't they do that anymore? Or maybe they do and I don't know. But that would be awesome.
So we're gonna have those head to head. And the first one we're going to play is the original Iron Maiden version. The video footage comes from Gothenburg, concert in Gothenburg in 2005. Unfortunately, I couldn't, it kind of came out of sync because when Iron Maiden plays, they do a lot of crazy guitar solos. So I put in some dogfighting footage from World War II just to kind of keep it in sync. But let's check that out. And then we'll play the Tyr version, and then there'll be a chance for you to vote to see which one.
Yes, the voting is going to be above my head when the moment comes.
Exactly.
So, Iron Maiden from 1983.
Yeah, this one from 2005.
Well, the song.
Exactly. So,
Here we
Where
go.
Eagles Dare. can you say?
What can you say? I like that bass towards the end.
Yeah.
Very nice ending touch.
You've seen them live, right?
I've seen them live and I love them, even though it was much later. I mean, it was 2014, I think. It was 2000, yeah, Copenhagen. And I love them. I love them live. I was thinking, my God, they're kind of old, you know, can they still do it? No problem. So much energy and so much electricity, and the crowd was crazy, kind of like this. And yeah, altogether, I loved it. One of the best concerts that I've seen at that Copenhagen. And again, I'm sure that when they were in the 80s, it was a different experience than being young, but I was so satisfied for seeing them even in their later years. I loved it.
I had the chance to see them right around this time in New York when I was going to school there. And no one would go with me to the show. It was in Madison Square Garden, and I couldn't get anyone to go with me, so I ended up not going, which was my biggest regret. And the next day, I'll never forget it, I walked into a grocery store just to get something to drink, and I had an Iron Maiden t-shirt on. The guy behind the counter is like,
did you go to the concert?
He was like, sweet concert last night, huh? And I was like, no, I didn't go. Did they play Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner? And he said, yes, they did.
Which is not something they often play.
I know, and it's my favorite song from them. So
it's also very long.
Really messed up on that one. But Where Eagles Dare, I think, is ripe for the picking because it's a good song, but it's not one of their greatest songs. Right?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I like, maybe compared to some like really favorites, the one that you played on repeat, maybe this is not one of mine, but it definitely is very good. And I guess that's why Tyr decided to give their own...
So we're switching over
oh
to
my
the Faroe
God.
Islands.
This is a new version of these drinking hordes. We had some drinking hordes for the Amon Amarth episode.
This is an actual drinking horn from the Faroe Islands. I think it's a sheep,
yeah, it looks
sheep horn.
very cute.
Normally they drink some clear schnapps out of this, but I just have whiskey. Because I drank that already.
In the honor of a Faroese band.
Yes. So this is a cover of Where Eagles Dare by Tyr. It's off their album Valkyria, if I have that right. So they sing all about Norse
As you'd
stuff.
expect from a band called Tyr.
Folk metal. And I like this cover because it has just a bit of a different sound. It's more... If you know the band Tyr, then it has their sound built in.
I think this is the essence, and why we like to do this battle of bands, is that you take a very good song, and then you allow other bands to put their really mark on it, because there's no point to reproduce. It's not like a cover band. Right. This is their own interpretation. So I'm very curious, because I expect something different.
Have you heard this one?
I don't think I've seen or heard the Tyr version.
Okay. So no video for this one. There's not so much live footage of them. I don't think they play it live, but let's hear it.
a definite worthy cover.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow, dude.
So.
I like the voice of the Tyr lead singer. What's his bucket, as you sometimes say?
I have his name here, Harry Jonsson.
Harry Jonsson.
Interesting fact, as I was reading about these guys, they're from the Faroe Islands, but they met in Copenhagen because it's a lot of Faroese go to
people study a
Denmark
lot,
to study.
right? Yeah.
So I think it's Faroese in origin, but probably I don't know where it was produced or where they live now, but whatnot. Anyways, back to the songs.
I really very much like the voice of Harry. I found that they're very similar. So we've done some other covers before, like we had Gravedigger versus Van Canto, totally different. Most recently we've done a Sabaton versus Amaranth, very different. I don't think the difference between these two versions, at least in my ears, at least spontaneous as you took me like in this moment, I don't think the difference is as poignant as in the previous cases. So it's in a sense harder to make the distinction because the flavor is not too different in the newer interpretation. At least this is my take. What do you think?
I think a lot of the song is instrumental.
Yes.
I think that's the explanation. I think that's why I couldn't use the whole Iron Maiden video because they really shorten the instrumental part when they play live. So it didn't match up. But for me, so I think definitely the vocals are different.
Yes.
And I think overall, the Tyr version is more low tones, bass, a little
heavier,
and it's a little more melodic and heavier. Whereas Iron Maiden is more, punchy on the strings, if that makes sense. It's more sort of diced up, whereas the Tyr version is a bit more smooth. But you gotta vote.
Yeah, I gotta vote. Always. This is the moment. As you guys already can tell, I'm a terrible person at choosing stuff.
Remember Alvin York?
I know. You had to push me to my very limits to make my mind up. But in this case, it's not so difficult because I do go with Iron Maiden. Because first, I guess I'm just used to that sound, and probably because I've heard it before. And then, while I find the voice, the lead singer of Tyr to be particularly good, I think that overall the credit goes to maybe the speedier, lighter version, sprightlier version from the good old Iron Maiden peoples.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I picked them, so I sort of knew. But I'm gonna go with Tyr on this one.
For once?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the cover for the reason that I like the more melodic tone. Maybe because I was just staring at their album cover for 5-6 minutes. You sort of get transported into this sort of mythological fantasy world. But I like how, especially the vocalist Harry, how he takes a different. It's more
like storytelling.
Transports you somewhere, and I like that aspect.
Oh, it was definitely very good. And again, I really noticed the voice quality, that remarkable difference. But I guess I just like the more the thinner sound, but the faster in a sense.
I think I like the more kind of bassier, drawn out version, if that makes sense.
How about you guys? How about you? Are you going with the Iron Maiden? Are you going with Tyr? Let us know in the poll, let us know in the comments, and we'll see who played it better.
Yeah, and we'll feature Tyr. There'll be more of them to come. This is just a bit of a taste.
Yeah, I wonder how many people of you guys knew about it, because I don't think it's a band that makes headlines, at least not outside Scandinavia.
Yeah, but they're big up here, that's for sure.
So definitely more of Tyr later. Remember to vote, remember to leave us your comments, and stay tuned for more battles and more videos coming your way.
Until next time.
May your sword stay sharp.
And your quests end in glory.